G'day everyone, Calvin here from the Coaching Company New Zealand. Now I can't show you this in real life because I'm in New Zealand and this is something that we see very little of. We actually did get some cars or some engines imported from the US and we still get them now, and it's causing chaos over here because the left-hand drive, right-hand drive looms are really funny. When a person sends a loom and says, hey, can you make this fit in my car? I'm like, it's a left-hand drive loom, man. It's we got a steering wheel on where you want to put the ECU. But this is something you'll see on the Californian spec, some Californian spec cars. And it makes me laugh when I see photos like this on the internet and people start talking about what it is. And so many people feel that they have to make a comment when they've got no idea at all what it is. And they're like, nah, that's not on my car. We don't care about your car. This is the poster's asked a question and wants an answer. Okay, your car doesn't count. There's the pipe. So what it is, and I've got some more photos actually. I've got some more. There we go. You can see here it's a UCF 10 car in this case. There's this extra fitting going onto the airbox, and some people think it's EGR. Kind of not really the right answer. It's EGR related, it's emissions related, and then we've got this photo here. Yes, I have stolen off the internet. You see it's got this pipe running along the side. And again, the answers are funny, and people just don't know. That system is for the air injection. Secondary air injection, if you want to be really technical. Now, little history. Early 90s, there was a push. There was a push towards emissions and reducing of emissions, and all the car manufacturers just kind of went haywire, didn't know what they were doing. They just went nuts with all these different systems. I think Honda had one that was pretty cool, which was like a CVCC valve, and you see them on some of the early Honda Civics, Honda Preludes, where they actually put an extra valve with the air injection, with the EGR going into the engines, and they used to carbon up. They were crap. We saw air injection on other cars. Mind you, some of the American stuff had air injection prior to the 90s. The idea is you feed in extra oxygen into the exhaust, which allows for the catalytic converters to work more efficiently because they've got a good supply of air other than what's going through the combustion chamber. And of course, a lot of cars were very inefficient in the combustion chamber, so they had excess hydrocarbons, and the extra oxygen was really needed to keep those catalytic converters really working. But as we've got more efficient in the engines, we don't really need that as much, though I'll show you soon. It was used in some later cars as well on the Toyota range. So basically this pipe was allowing air to flow into the exhaust manifolds. Well, it's actually, if you look on a UZ head, on the side of the heads there is a place where the ports would go. They're not drilled and tapped. You can see where they're sitting into that cylinder head. That's where it goes. Right, and we'll find another picture here. We'll go this one. Now looking at that one, that's another Toyota product, and we can see it's a VVTi model. It's got a cast iron block. Looks like a UZ, so it's probably a 2UZ, and it is. It's a. I got that picture from a friend of mine who's been working on his. I think it's a Tundra. Can't be certain, but I found a listing for Tundra. So, but it does get splashed into some later model Toyotas as well. Right, we're going to go to here, and we're going to go to here. So I've chosen a 93 LS400, and this will be. See down here, California spec, California spec, California spec, California spec cars. Okay, and we have a pump. See, pump assembly air switching valve, and then it's got this. It's got an inlet hose coming into the pump. There's another little valving system there. Then there's this outlet pipe goes to this T fitting. And that's probably a one-way valve, and it goes down into the side of the cylinder heads there to put the air, the air nozzles on both sides, because it's a V8, of course. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So that's what I've chosen to show you there on that was a 93 LS400. So it isn't something that's totally unexpected. Anyone with knowledge of that era of cars can look at it and see pretty much what the system is, but a lot of people haven't seen it because it's pretty much only on those Californian cars or those oddball ones that went around the world. We're actually really lucky because we mainly see Japanese imports and they don't even have EGR valves. Though the New Zealand new cars, we tended to get a UK general spec car and they did have EGRs. There were two different kinds of EGRs, well there were different setups for EGRs as well. I've probably, are you kidding me, it's actually it's under here. You can't see it, but at the top of my screen I've got my control panel for my screen record, and the other screens I want to put are under that. Let me fix that problem. Right, solve that problem. As we were looking at the air injection system, what have I got here? Vacuum piping. And that's a Cali spec, Californian spec UCF20 with the differences in vacuum hoses. Of course, I'm using Toyo DIY with the pictures and how this alters. And people often ask, you know, is there a vacuum diagram? Well, yeah, there is. I've got one right there. It is. There's a vacuum diagram. I wasn't able to find a UCF20 with the air injection system. Okay, I can't say definitively if it was on there because I can't find one. Okay, but we definitely found a UCF10 with it. And if we go along here, there's the EGR systems. That was UCF20. That one's got, it'll have a stepper motor, 6-wire stepper motor. Some are more vacuum operated with vacuum solenoids. And then some have got this little bimetallic switch at the front with some vacuum T. And people freak out about that because they don't know what that is either. That'll stay for another day, eh? So wait, here's the Tundra. So Phil's picture that he donated to today's cause. There is the air injection system on a 2005 Tundra. So again, we got the pump, we've got a valve, we've got this electronic valve at the back, piping. So that one is just showing that it does exist. Now, I don't believe his car's a Californian spec car either. Goes elsewhere, so they, in the later ones, it wasn't totally defined by the Californian spec cars. Phil was certainly not in California, but he's got a Tundra, well I think it's a Tundra, with that system on it, and we can prove that they do have it. SC400. Now I wasn't able to find any on SC400, so we got an EGR system, but it comes up in here when I'm looking for it. What have I got there? I did a search for the vacuum pump, or the air pump, secondary air pump, and it only came up on that model LS400. And so we go there, we can actually go back to that diagram there, and it comes up in here, manifold air injection system. Okay, so that's how we can tell whether they do or don't have it. Of course, not all of that model will necessarily have it, because the sub-models do change, and that's where Toyota love to keep it interesting for us. And that's why some people, when they have a certain model or a certain problem, I often ask for what sub-model it is, so I can go straight to the correct car, correct listings. I can also go through the Toyota listings because I have access to that. But this is something that is available to everyone. And there are other sites that are similar. And I will go through for my members some other sites that are really, really helpful to finding some of these parts and finding part numbers and prices and that sort of stuff. But that's for another day. So I hope that's been helpful explaining what that thing, yep. And oh, I don't want to save that. Oh no, that's something else. Let's have a quick chat about that in a moment. And that. So that's the air injection or secondary air injection system on the UZ engines. But just quickly, again, sometimes I just don't think I'm making a difference, and but I'm really proud of my paid members. I did a video the other day, guys, and 16 out of 16 watched it. That is awesome. There was a person asking what model Celsius did this come out of. Now, we should be able to look at this. These engines started in 1989, and this is a Gen 2 or out of a UCF20 that started in late 94. 2025. That's 30 years ago, and people still can't identify it. And again, if people don't know, maybe they should keep their mouth shut. It is a free world, and that would be ideal, wouldn't it? But it's very easy to see. We've got rounded fuel rails. Now we said it was Celsius. We look down here. I can just see it. See right there? There's the hydraulic fan solenoid pointing towards that. It is a Celsius. If the customer says it's a Celsius, the owner says it's Celsius. We've got an oil filter here which points the right way, so it's not a SC400 oil filter housing. That's a LS or Celsius style. We've got a coil facing forward. That's UCF20. Look at the exhaust manifolds. Not a SC style. Definitely in the UCF20 or the Gen 2 type styling. Interesting here, we've got a 4-pin plug. Now, that's Celsius. Yes, that's correct. No EGR, Celsius. You see the wiring loom goes over here. That's Celsius are only right-hand drive. So the loom's going the wrong way. So either someone's done a big mod on that loom, and the loom has been tidy. You can see here. It's had additional tape put around it. See, that's not factory tape. So either it's had a big modification, or it's had a LS loom fitted, but I don't expect that to be swapped out for a 2-pin or 2 blankets put in, because we don't need the hydraulic fan solenoid. It goes through that plug there. People thought because it had an OBD1 DLC1 connector on it, that means it's an earlier one, thinking that US had OBD2 after 94, 95. No, they still have that though. And we've got this throttle body going to the right. US go to the other side. They pull from the other side. So throttle bodies are different on the US, but clearly Gen 2, being the owner said it was Celsius, and it suggests UCF 20 or 21 Celsius. The one is just for the different suspension. So right. Now, another video we'll do how to tell OBD1 to OBD2 with a simple test. Really easy in a standard car. And or if you've wired up a loom, we'll do that test as well. And I've got lots of other helpful stuff coming along like this, technical sort of stuff. Let me know other little technical stuff you might be interested in. I'll see what I can do. Okay, catch you later.